Hey guys, how you doing? This is my great section. I'm here today to bring you the review for Vamp the Soul Manga Chapter 24. Wow, been a very long time since I put Vamp the Soul in the title, but let's not waste no time. Let's just get straight into the review. So Manga Chapter 24. So this chapter has two focus points, but it is split into three parts. Now the two focus points being everything that's going on within the shopping center with M2K, and the other focus point is outside the shopping center, uh, resolving just the I'm not resolving anything actually. It's just but that bit of the chapter is about just finding out what's going on with Rang Fang and essentially Jess because they're the only two to leave their fights injured. So we kind of need to see what's going on with them as well. So in part one, that answers the cliffhanger of the previous chapter, chapter 23, the end of volume 3. And I did have Donnie in my expectations of getting hit. I saw it as a possibility. It was within my predictions. However, I did feel like it was the least of my predictions to come true. I didn't actually think at the end of the day, it wasn't a top runner basically for Donnie to get hit, but essentially he does get hit. And now maybe I didn't realize he was getting hit with a cannon. You know, a cannonball was gonna get fired to him, but that didn't hit home until I saw the actual panel where you just see that hole within Donnie's chest. So Donnie is the one to get hit, and I remember in my predictions I said like if he was to get hit, he wouldn't die, and now he is essentially dead. He does die. It is confirmed via I think it was M2K. He says it, but it is confirmed within the chapter that Donnie is the one to die, and now his death is I don't want to say it's meaningless, but for me as an audience reader, it's hard to sympathize with Donnie's death, and I say it all the time in different series as well. If a character doesn't have enough screen time, it is very hard to sympathize with their death. I know he died for a good cause, protecting Inkra and the dragon eggs as well. That's all. That's all good. That's all good. Donnie, you're a very young man. I can see that, and very brave for your young age. But because you didn't have enough screen time, because I didn't get to know you as a character, because I don't know your life, your backstory, Donnie. I'm sorry, but it's hard to sympathize with your death, and it's not meaningless in the context of the VTS world because it is mentioned that Donnie was the last of the giants. So supposedly the truth is more than it seems, James. I'm learning. There is no more giants out there, apparently. Well, for now, anyway. There is no more giants out there. So, in the context of the VTS world, his death would be meaningless. But because, like I said previously, they didn't really get to know the character much, it's hard to sympathize with his death. But also within this part, we see more of M2K, because up until now M2K, to me at least, has been presented as the businessman doing his job, whereas within this chapter we get to see a bit more of his personality, and we know that he loves chaos and he's an agent of chaos, basically, to put it lightly. He's an agent of chaos, and it's just nice to see a bit more of his character. Also, the final thing to happen within this part, the chapter, is that we have the cavalry come in. That's everybody who basically isn't injured, minus Jasper, because Jasper's there looking after his daughter and possibly everything as well. Yeah, we'll say that. So part 2 now. Now, I don't want to say I wish part 2 never happened, but bits of it, just a small bit of it, did throw me off a little bit. So we start off this bit of the chapter with, I'm guessing it's police, but obviously of the supernatural kind, talking to Rang Fang about what happened within the shopping center, and we have Rang Fang. He's still going over what he did in his mind. So basically, at least in this chapter, all that he can get out and say is that Buzz was right. Not exactly as, but Buzz was right. I am a killer. So he's still brooding over that, and I think rightly so. We have Jess on the other hand. I can't remember her being, I guess it's a kind of I'm guessing it's a kind of, yeah, because it was yeah, okay, I guess it could be like mentally she's drained, so she can't physically move, but she's in the bed, she don't say nothing. And then after that, we have the random bit that I was talking about previously. So we just seem to flip from Ramfan getting interviewed into a lesson about magic. And now it just seemed a bit random and just really out of place. And fair enough, I can understand why. I can understand the magic system. I'm pretty sure it's been touched upon, but I don't think it's ever fully been explained to us, the audience. And that's all fine and dandy. You got to explain it at some point. You got to throw it in somewhere. Maybe James couldn't think of a way to throw it in, so he threw it in here. But even if that was the case, it's not even a full explanation. So for that reason, I just found it a very random thing to have within this chapter, but it was thrown in there, and it just seemed out of place, and that's really all I'm going to say about it. But during this time, we are introduced to, like, during this bit of the chapter, we're introduced to, say, 2 to 3 new characters, and I can't really talk about individuals because names wasn't given. But the most important thing after this little random scene to happen within this bit part of the chapter is where we have the interaction between Jasper and Jess's mum. Think her name is Anna. Think so. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. But I think her name was Anna. And it was nice to see the interaction. It was a nice surprise to see this character, because I don't know about you, but after the Jess flashback we got in the last chapter, I was under the impression that that was the last time Jess saw her mum, and she just wasn't involved within their lives as well, like showing up at all. But it seems like, at least for the very minimum, that Anna is still very much around, because I think, again, we were not really told directly, but I feel like Anna is in charge of this special police force that is going around. That's what I think. We haven't been told, but that's what I'm assuming. And yeah, but like I was saying, it was nice to see her interactions with Jasper. Surprised to find out that she's actually still around. But it kind of got me thinking to what degree, because I personally thought prior to this that Jess hadn't seen her mum since that day, since the day in the flashback. But it might not be that. Actually, it might not be the case. It just might be a thing where Anna is not involved in Jess's life as much as a good mum should be. So yeah, that's what I feel like the case is, because I feel like even though Jasper, even though Jess is in like that hospital lying down right now, she could probably at the very least hear her mum around. So I don't think Jasper would be too far away from Jess's side. So it just got me kind of wondering about the relationship between Jess and Anna, because previously I thought Anna wasn't around, but it seems like she's more around than I previously thought. So it got me wondering about the relationship. So the last thing I want to say about part 2 is how, again, it's hard to explain who because we don't get names. If you've read the chapter, you know who I'm talking about. We have this person interrupt the little reunion between Jasper and Anna, and she asks Jasper, "I'm looking for someone in particular. Are they here?" And now I have no idea who this mystery person is. I'm not even going to try to guess. I have no idea whatsoever. But if you have your guesses, please let me know in the comment section. But she here for somebody. I don't know if it's to take them personally. I think it might be just to have a talk. But regardless, here for somebody nonetheless. So let's talk about part 3, the final bit of the chapter. So we skip back to the first focal point, the main focal point, if I do say so myself. And this is basically how the reinforcements have now arrived, and it's the kiddies. And now I see you, James. I see you playing off as kids being bash, and I don't think I want to say illogical, but let's just stick with Rash. So therefore, rushing into the fight. So we have not Rang Fang, I'm lying. Sir Lancelot, Rin, Kaz, and Nick basically just coming to Ikra's aid, mainly on the defensive for now, but we do have Nick and Kaz go on the offensive where we have the cyborg, not android, he's a cyborg, Dragon Mistress, James, and Einstein, I think. It's pretty much just watching them. Which of them was watching them? We had James at one point go like, no guys, fall back kind of thing. But yeah, for the most part, they are just watching. And it's more of M2K just having fun with his current predicament despite being outnumbered. We do have the reveal of him deploying more weaponized zombies. We saw a weaponized zombie back in, I think it was volume 2. Volume 2, so it's not a surprise to find out that he has more, but we do get a bit of backstory on weaponized zombies, learning that M2K has deployed weaponized zombies in the past in New York in 1930. If that information is going to be important later on down the line, I do not know, or if it was just told to us to give us a bit of context, I don't know either. But I'm more of the thinking of the latter. So yeah, the kids attack, the adults are watching, and we leave off the cliffhanger of M2K reaching out for Nick, and Nick being pretty much pissed off of just M2K's way of thinking right now. So that's where we leave off. So last thing I want to talk about is the pacing of the chapter. I feel that the pacing was really good. I did mention previously that how because Donnie is a character that wasn't very much established within the series, that his death was hard to sympathize with, and it's because of that I am happy with the pacing of the chapter, because we could have spent more time just brooding over the death of Donnie. That could have been dragged out in many ways. It could have been seeing more of his reaction, and plus having M2K react to it more, and more of Inca saying, no, oh my gosh, you killed him. But I feel like the pacing for that bit of the chapter, because it was Donnie, a character that we haven't spent much time with, I feel like the pacing of that was absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. If it was a different character that we spent more time with, then that's when I would have liked the dragged out death. But yeah, it was fine for Donnie. And the whole skipping over to the other scene, that was fine as well, because we do sometimes need a break from the action to just find out what's going on in the normal world. And again, enough time was spent on that. I didn't feel like it was too long or too short on that. And then skipping back to the action, obviously a great way to finish off the chapter. So overall, the pacing for the chapter was, I dare say, almost almost perfect. What stops it from being perfect, I guess, is breaking away from different aspects. But again, it wasn't too split up. We could have gone to other places as well. Probably see what Jaminio was doing as well. So pacing was almost perfect in my eyes. So I feel like for that reason, that this chapter was a good start to volume 4, and I had a rating in mind when I started this review, but I feel like after just talking things through, I have essentially changed my mind. And now it might be ironic because we are in volume 4, but I'm going to start off volume 4, manga chapter 24, with a 4-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.